You represent Terry Pewitt and Susan Valentine, is that correct?
I do, Your Honor.
All right. And you have filed a petition for letters testamentary and to appoint an executor.
We have, Your Honor.
And has that actually been heard already?
It has not. It's been continued twice. Today's the third appearance on that. At the last appearance, first, Ms. No was going to represent this gentleman, and then he was unable to hire her. So at the first court date, it was continued for him to obtain counsel.
So we're here on your petition to appoint an co-executrix.
Yes.
And then also to admit a holographic will.
Yes, Your Honor.
What is your name, sir?
William Hyman. I'm Fannie Rose's great grandson.
Just go to that microphone if you will.
My name is William Hyman. Fannie Rose's great grandson. I live in her house. I have the last like 10 years.
And that's at Ashland City?
Yes, sir.
That's where you live?
Yes, sir.
And that belonged to the decedent?
Yes, sir.
All right. And why are you here today? What are you seeking?
Miss No submitted the will that my grandmother had drawn up in 2020 by Mr. Lockhart over here. And I'm here trying to push that one as the last will and testament rather than these holographic wills. When we were here the last time, like the first time we were here, they submitted the holographic will that didn't have my grandmother's signature at the bottom of it. And then they had the same words typed out on a piece of paper that was followed by a signature and a notary stamp. Then when we returned this past time, they admittedly that was no longer valid. They said that they admitted that there was no signature at the bottom of the handwritten page, so they asked to have it removed and not taken into any account. They then submitted a 2023 will that was holographic that is written entirely in my great grandmother's handwriting, which I'm not arguing. However, the signature at the bottom of the page is not written in the same ink pen. It's a whole different shade. It's stipulated, and I ran it through some AI signature comparison.
You can't testify about AI signature comparisons. That's inadmissible in this court.
Okay, but as you can see, just by looking at it, it doesn't match up.
You think it's not her signature?
Yes, sir.
All right. So is that the will you're seeking to introduce?
It is this will we're seeking to introduce. We have witnesses in the hall. We also have a video too.
They also said they had a video the first time we came to court of her signing the 2025 one as well, the one that they said was not admissible. So,
well, let me explain to you. We're going to have a hearing, and I'm going to let them put on their proof since they were the original moving party. And there is a law that governs the introduction of a holographic will. Any person, I could walk out of here today and I could draft me a new will, as long as I sign it all in my handwriting and I sign it.
Right.
Then if I were to drop dead on the way home, then it could be introduced as my last will and testament, provided that they introduce at least two witnesses who will testify that they recognize my handwriting and that they know that is in fact my handwriting. That's all that's required for a holographic will. So we're going to have that hearing, and I'll let Ms. Crabtree put on her proof.
Okay.
You just have a seat right there. If you're a party to this action in the sense that you're a beneficiary or an heir, then I will give you an opportunity to ask questions and then later put on your proof if you wish.
Sir, I was originally supposed to be the sole.
I'm sorry?
I was originally supposed to be the sole beneficiary, and with each holographic will that has been presented,
come back to the microphone. We're making a record, so
I was originally the sole beneficiary listed on my grandmother's estate, and I have Margaret Brady would attest that she had actually spoken to my grandmother later on, about 2 years later, about redoing her will, but still labeling me as sole beneficiary. But yet each holographic will that's been presented, both the one that was originally presented and then the one that just happened to show up after the first court date, just benefits the Miss Pewitt over here just more and more. And she was also the caretaker of my great grandmother when she went into hospice.
All right. Well, my suggestion would be, number one, that you've been given an opportunity to hire an attorney. And if you are going to raise the issue of the beneficiary of this will having exerted undue influence on your grandmother because she was a caretaker for her. That is a basis you can do, but you would have to file a will contest.
Right.
Though, in that
I believe that's
you
what.
just be quiet while I'm
Sorry,
talking.
I'm sorry.
That would likely require you to have a lawyer to know how to do that. And that would be done after I have this hearing. You can still preserve your right to file a will contest if that's what you wish to do.
Okay.
All right, have a seat. Ms. Ventry, you may call your first witness.
Your Honor, I call Terry Pruitt.
We're going to ask this witness stand is around here, so you're going to have to come around and we'll ask you if you will raise your right hand. Let me place you under oath. You solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give in this case to be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. So help you God. All right, this is actually the witness stand.
Oh, that's going to be really bad.
It's a little bit awkward, but we now have a camera there on the witness stand, so you can see her on the screen as well. All right, you may proceed.
Please state your full name for the court.
Terry Pruitt.
And how were you related to Fannie Rose?
I'm her granddaughter.
And you were present and spoke to Miss Rose when she decided to change her will. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. And you have submitted a petition to this court with a will dated December 13th, 2023.
Yes.
Were you present when she was writing this will?
Yes.
And there were actually recordings of her while she was writing this will. Is that correct?
I believe so.
But you didn't record it.
No, I did not record
Okay.
it.
Were you with her when she signed this will?
Yes, I took her to my bank, Pinnacle Bank, and had Betty Jo was going to notarize it. My grandmother signed the paper, and then when Betty Jo got it and read it, she stated that she could not notarize it due to it being a will.
So Miss Rose thought she had to have it her signature notarized.
Yes.
Did she sign it there in the bank that day?
Yes.
Okay. And do you know of any other will executed or after subsequent to December 13th, 2023 that Miss Rose attempted to make?
The one in 2025 that was found invalid.
And but this is the last will you're aware of that Miss Rose signed, correct?
Yes.
And you're asking the court to enter it as the will of Fannie Rose. Is that correct?
Yes.
And you understand you would be a co-executor of this will.
Yes.
You understand you have legal obligations to gather her assets and distribute them specifically as Miss Rose requested. Is that correct?
Yes.
And are you agreeable with doing so?
Yes.
Have you ever been convicted of a felony?
No.
Did Miss Rose own any kind of business entity when she died?
No.
Okay. No further questions of this witness, Your Honor.
Mr. Hyman, you are representing yourself. I will give you an opportunity to ask a question if you want to. Go to the podium, but it has to be in question form. It cannot be a statement.
Yes, sir.
All right.
Okay, so you said that the will in 2025 was found invalid, correct?
Yes.
Okay, if the will that was written in 2025 was invalid, then why was it that the last time, the first time we came here, y'all swore that it was notarized and signed in front of y'all with video that showed her signing the paperwork?
She had notarized it, got that will notarized, but we did not know that you also had to have two witnesses sign it at the same time as notarized. So it did not have the two witness signatures, which made it invalid.
But where did the video go?
My daughter has it.
Okay, so if there's a video of her signing this will in 2025, then that would show 100% that that was a valid will, correct?
Yes, if her signature is
That's a
on
legal conclusion that you're asking her a question that calls for a legal conclusion,
Okay.
and that's
Sorry.
not admissible.
Sorry. So, okay, so did the will in 2025 state that it was supposed to render all previous wills null and void?
Yes, she stated in the first sentence that
So,
she wanted to change her will and testament and did it of free mind.
so ultimately, the one that was presented from 2025 would have canceled out the one that y'all are presenting today.
Again,
Yes,
that's
if
a
it
legal
was valid.
conclusion.
I'm
You
sorry.
can't make a statement of what you want it to say,
I'm sorry.
and you're making a statement of a legal conclusion, which is up to me to make that
I'm
decision.
sorry. How close exactly were you with Miss Rose before her death?
I took care of her for 6 months. She lived with me. Me and my daughter took care of her on hospice. We took her to doctor's appointments. When she was in the hospital, we were there 24/7 with her while you never visited.
Now, we're not gonna. Sorry, guys. Would I have been allowed over at the house that she was at?
You were allowed at the hospital.
Had I,
Wait till-
if I had attempted to visit her, would I have been allowed at the house that she was residing at, or even allowed to speak to her on the phone herself instead of speaking through somebody else?
You were allowed to contact her through phone. You were allowed to see her at the hospital the numerous times she was at the hospital. You were not allowed at the residence due to your felony record.
So when my fiance asked if she could come over to see her and she was told no, was that because of my felony record as well? Because she has a squeaky clean record.
A lot of the decisions were left up to Granny. We asked her what she wanted and she made her decisions.
Okay, so you said she lived with you for 6 months. So when exactly did she move in there?
She started staying with me off and on back in July. She moved in with me permanently in November, and she passed away January 28th. And we were there when she took her last breath.
Okay, and what time was that she took her last breath on January 28th?
6:28.
Hmm. So do you know why my son called me at 5:38 that night asking questions about reverse mortgage and whatnot? And then
I can't speak for what he did.
Any other questions?
no, sir.
All right, thank you. Any redirect?
No, Your Honor.
Thank you, ma'am. You may step down and have a seat. Call your next witness.
I call Miss Valentine, Your Honor.
Valentine. All right. Miss Rhonda has a really nice, soft voice. She has a nice, soft voice, but sometimes you can't hear her very well. So I was wanting to make sure you
Well,
can hear.
I'm hard of hearing, so that makes we've got a mutual.
All right. Then have a seat, and if you will kind of speak towards that microphone. So,
At first, I thought you were talking about this Rhonda, and I thought I've never been accused of having a soft voice.
there are a couple of other attorneys I can lump in that same category. So.
Miss Valentine, would you please state your full name for the court?
Susan Cooper Valentine.
And how were you related to Miss Rose?
She and I worked together and have been friends for over 50 years. And my mother even considered her a second daughter.
And you petitioned the court with Miss Pewitt asking to be appointed as the executor. Is that
Yeah.
correct?
That was at her wishes, yes.
And that was in the will that we initially presented to the court.
Yes.
And since then, we've located a will dated December 13th, 2023. Is that correct?
Correct.
I'm going to pass you a copy of that document. How long did you know Miss Rose?
For at least 50 years.
Okay. Would you look over, did you, over that 50 years, get to see her handwriting and her signature?
Yes, I did.
Could you look over that document that I passed to you? Does that appear to be her handwriting?
I'm looking at where she wrote my name. Yes, that part I know for a fact. And
And
this
does
is
the
her
second
signature.
page appear to be her signature?
Yes.
Okay. Do you have any reason to believe this is not her will that she had wrote out?
No, I do not.
Okay. I'd like to, we have already submitted a copy of the will to the court, Your Honor.
All right.
Okay, ma'am. Did Miss Rose come to your
It appears
home?
that I have the original in the book.
You do, Your Honor. Okay. At any time did Miss Rose come to your home with a will prior to 2023?
Any will she brought, she came back at a later date. She and I went out once a week, every week. I came to Pleasant View and picked her up, and we had our usual day out. We wound up back at my house in the White House, and there was one other will, and she wanted it, and I gave it to her, and she went into my dining area where my shredder is, and she shredded that will.
And was that the will that she'd had prepared by an attorney?
Yes.
Why did she shred it? Did she tell you why she was shredding it?
Yes, she did.
And what did she state?
She was very unhappy with her living circumstances, and quite frankly, she was afraid of Brad.
And that's her grandson, correct?
Yes.
Her great grandson that's here today.
Yes.
And you heard him testify. Did she ever state that she wanted him to inherit her items after that date?
No.
Okay. And did she tell you why she was afraid of him?
Well, she didn't tell me, but there was a lady that supposedly committed suicide there. And after that date, she was afraid of what he might do. And she told me that one time he had made the statement that he had burned it down before he let anybody take anything there. And she said, well, please don't let me burn too.
And do you believe that the will we have submitted today to be the last will and testament of Miss Rose?
Yes, I do.
Okay. No further questions of this witness.
Ms. Hyman, again, you have the right to ask questions if you want to ask a question.
Mr. Valentine, do you mind asking how old you are this year?
I'm 81 years old, and I'm fully aware of my capabilities and my senses.
Okay. Is it possible that your vision might not be as good as it once was?
No. I get my eyes checked every year, and the doctor will change my prescription if it's necessary.
Okay. You said you went out with Miss Rose every week, and which y'all would go out shopping and out to eat. When was the last time that you actually went out on a date with her?
I can't tell you the exact date, but I can tell you it was prior to her going in the hospital, because after she came out, she told me about her heart problem.
Do you remember the car wreck she had that totaled her vehicle?
I'm sorry.
Do you remember that car accident that she had that totaled the vehicle that she was driving?
I certainly do.
Do you remember how many years ago that was?
I couldn't tell you. I mean, there's been so much going on, and we've been up here so many times.
Maybe possibly like 5 years ago, something about around that. Sound about right?
I can't say for sure, no. But I do know after that time is when, instead of her meeting me in Springfield, I started coming to Pleasant View to get her.
For that one time, as you stated, correct?
I'm sorry.
For that one time that you stated, correct? The one time that you said y'all ended up back at y'all's house, that was the one time you came back to Pleasant View to get her, correct?
After the wreck and after she went in the hospital that one time, and she was telling me about her condition.
So do you remember when I was driving her to Springfield to meet you prior to you driving out to Pleasant View to pick her up?
I remember you bringing her 2 or 3 times, yes.
Okay, so if somebody's afraid of somebody, do you think they're gonna ride with them while they drop them off to go spend their girls' day out?
Well,
In
when
your
you're
opinion?
dependent on somebody, sometimes that overcomes your fear. And then when I told her I'd be happy to come and get her, and there were a few times that she called me and she said, I can't meet you because Brad can't bring me.
Could it have possibly been because Brad was working and paying bills at the house, or is it just that Brad wouldn't?
I don't know that Brad worked. Now, you're asking for my opinion, and I'm giving it. She and I talked frequently, and I know that she was living under pretty poor circumstances.
It's speculation, but thank you.
Well,
No more
some of
questions,
your
Your Honor. I'm
questions
sorry.
are speculation too.
He's
No,
objecting. He doesn't know the proper
Yeah.
form, but he's objecting to you making an assumption or speculation about why she would. The statements that you're making about what she said to you, and that normally is not admissible because it's a hearsay statement of a decedent.
Right.
So we're really just here about whether or not she recognizes this to be the last will and testament, and
Right.
is she aware of it being done?
Right.
So if you have questions about that, I'll allow it, but I'm not considering.
I have no more questions.
All right. Any redirect?
No, Your Honor.
Thank you. And now you may be 81, but you're just barely old enough to be president. Did you know that? All right.
Right now, I'm taking care of a disabled veteran.
Oh,
So,
good for you.
my son.
Well, I'll credit you for that. So be careful on your way out.
Oh yeah. I'm not senile yet, Your Honor.
Oh no.
Your Honor, I call Constance Richardson. She's in the hall.
What's her name?
Constance Richardson. Just a little fast. No, you're just a little fast.
I am, and I claim it.
Miss Richardson, you're going to go that direction.
Come right around here, please, ma'am. The second chair here. You will raise your right hand and face our clerk. Over here.
I do.
Thank you.
Ma'am, please state your full name for the court.
Constance Richardson.
And how were you related to Fannie Rose?
She is the grandmother of my son.
So you're not biologically related, is that correct?
Correct.
Okay, I'm going to pass you a document. Over the time that you knew Miss Rose, did you have a chance to see her handwriting?
Yes, I did.
And did you have a chance to see her signature?
Yes, I did.
Does that document appear to be in her handwriting?
Yes, it does.
And could you look at the second page and tell the court whether you believe that to be her signature?
It does appear to be her signature.
I'd like to submit that as an exhibit to her testimony. That's a copy of the will we submitted, Your Honor.
All right. We'll mark that as Exhibit 1 to this hearing.
And ma'am, at any time did Miss Rose tell you that she changed her will after the date of that document?
After the date of that document,
Well, that was in 23. You know she attempted to do
yes.
changes.
So she gave a will that was done to my son, Skylar Heineman, and we delivered it to Susan.
Miss Valentine?
Valentine, yes, Miss Susan Valentine. We met her at Goodwill parking lot with it. She told me she gave it to him, as well as Skylar told me that she gave it to him before I got Skylar. And then whenever I had picked Skylar up, we had went and we met her at Goodwill in Madison, and we provided her with that will.
Okay. And that will wound up not being a valid will. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Okay. Do you know of any other valid wills that Miss Rose has executed since 2023?
No, I do not.
Do you understand that to be her wishes?
Yes, I do.
Okay. No further questions of this witness, Your Honor.
Mr. Hyman, do you have any questions for this witness? Sir.
So you say that Skylar was provided with a will by Ms. Rose, correct?
That's correct.
Okay, so would it be possible to get Skylar to come down to be a witness? Or did he possibly say that he wasn't contesting his grandmother's will and that he wanted nothing to do with it?
He has not been asked because I'm not aware if my 16-year-old son can testify. Because my 16-year-old son can testify that he was provided with a will by Miss Rose, asked specifically to deliver it to Susan and not to say anything to anyone. So it was not known it was a thing to where she could do it on her own accord. She wanted it to be a secret. She didn't want it to be known so nothing could happen to it.
Okay, so you say that you're well versed in her handwriting and her signature, correct?
That's correct.
Okay, so same here, same will. Yeah, yes, it's the same will that she has. It's a copy of the same one.
This is Exhibit 1, a copy of the same will.
Well, now, will you look at the handwriting at the top of the page and look at the smoothness of her handwriting, and then take a good look at that signature at the end of it and tell me if you see any issues there? Is that truly her handwriting?
I don't really think that there's an issue with any of the handwriting or there's anything questionable about the will. I think that
Or the signature
it's
matching it?
suffice it to say that when somebody is writing a letter, that their handwriting is going to change throughout that letter, especially when you're elder, I feel like. So honestly, I think that, it looks consistent. There's nothing, and honestly, people sign their names differently than they do when they write it down in a letter as well. So,
But as you said, the handwriting might change throughout the letter, but
a signature is pretty still intentional.
would
if
you
you
not
will.
use the same ink pen to sign it though?
Maybe she ran out of ink. I don't know.
When was the last time that you were actually around Miss Rose? Like,
I was actually with her on Christmas.
I'm not talking about that.
And
I'm
I
talking,
actually visited her before she had passed away. So I'm not sure what we're.
well, when was the last time you were around her where you would have actually seen her handwriting and
Honestly, she
that
gave
it-
my
in
son
that
a
context?
card for his what was the third was his 3-year-old his third birthday when she came to his third birthday. Mason, yes, she gave him a card. I was trying to find it, but I did not find it.
Okay. Am I allowed to submit, like, show some more handwriting samples that compared to the handwriting that?
If you have handwriting samples that you want to submit,
Yeah, it's just never mind. I'm just trying to think. Sorry, I'm don't really know what I'm doing up here. So, I guess no further questions on that one.
Right.
Sorry.
any redirect.
No, Your Honor.
Thank you, ma'am. You may step down, you may leave, or you may have a seat in the court. Whatever you'd like.
What?
Call your next witness.
One last witness, Ben Donnelly. Ben Donnelly. Mr. Donnelly, if you'll go around that side, please.
Only raise your right hand and let the clerk place you under oath. Have a seat there.
Mr. Donnelly, please state your full name for the court.
Me and Jamin Stephen Donnelly.
And how did you know Miss Fanny Rose?
Been part of the family for 25 years.
Are you married into the family,
No,
related?
No,
Just
me and Terry been together 25 years. They get married.
Scoot up to that microphone just a little bit. Move it. There you go.
so you're friends with the family.
I guess that's what
Okay.
you want to say.
So throughout the time that you have known Miss Rose, did you have a chance to see her handwriting?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you have a chance to see her, how she signed her signature?
Yes, ma'am.
If I could have Exhibit 1 passed to Mr. Donnelly.
Let me hand you that. That's Exhibit 1 that we're talking about.
Mr. Donnelly, could you look over that document? Does that appear in from the time you saw Miss Rose handwriting, does that appear to be her handwriting?
You talking about everything or just the
Just
signature?
everything. And then I'll ask you about the signature on page 2 next. So look at the handwriting. Does that appear to be her handwriting? And does page 2 appear to be her signature?
Yeah, more so the signature, but like if she wrote her name here on the top and the F's a little, not really like her. It's got an extra that seemed like extra curve, but
Do people's signatures and handwriting change over time?
sure.
I'd like to submit that as an exhibit to his testimony. Mr. Donnelly, did Miss Rose discuss with you what she wanted to happen with her will at any time?
Yeah, when she was at the house and she was on her
And
deathbed.
do you believe the document that we've submitted to the court is her will to be her desire on what happens to her property?
Oh, no, I didn't read every word of that thing.
Well, you've seen it previously, right?
Seen.
Have you seen her will previously?
Yeah.
Okay. And did you believe it to be what she wanted to happen to her property?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's for,
Did you ever have a conversation with Miss Rose about getting rid of a will that she had written previously?
I wasn't, me and her, I was very aware of other wills that she had that she wanted to do away with, but
Did she say it in your presence? Put it
Yeah.
that way.
yeah, like I said, I've heard them talk about it several times, different
That
scenarios.
she wanted that will, a previous will, destroyed.
Several, yeah.
Okay. No further questions, Your Honor.
Mr. Hyman, do you have any questions for this witness?
Mr. Donnelly, so how often were you around Miss Rose where you would have seen her write out her signature or anything else, like handwriting wise, to the point to where you're actually going to be able to point out the little extra thing that she's got on the top of her F for the signature that was lacking on this one here?
You asked me how often. What is your question?
I'm asking you, how is it that you know that her signature is so in detail that you know that there's that extra little thing on her F
Well, I
that
was
she
there
only
when
does
she
that
signed a couple different times.
that wasn't in this right here, as you stated?
I was standing right there when she signed a couple different things on her deathbed towards the end when she was living at our house.
Okay. So she was signing things on her deathbed. And were you aware that she had degenerative disease in her eyes and she could not see anything really with her glasses on, especially without her glasses on?
There was times she could see things, there were times she couldn't. She made it very clear when she couldn't.
So did she have her
She made it very
glasses?
clear when she did.
Did she have her glasses
Read
with
right
her?
out word for word.
Did she have her glasses with her at the time that she was signing all these documents right before she passed?
Don't know. I know she was very aware of what she was doing.
Or is it possible that they're still at my house?
I said, I don't know on the last part. Doesn't make any difference. I know she knows what she was doing. Reading correctly, writing correctly.
So y'all had her signing documents right before her death.
No, she signing on her own.
Yeah.
Well, I didn't have her do anything.
No further questions, Your Honor.
No
Reader,
further questions, Your Honor.
thank you, sir. You may step down, or you may leave, or you may have a seat in the courtroom. You have any other witnesses?
I can
No
go back
other
to work.
witnesses, Your
You can
Honor.
go back to work.
He has been very patient. He's came with us each time.
All right, so you rested your proof, is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. Hyman, the petitioner has rested, they have rested their proof on this petition to probate this holographic will. You have the right to call witnesses if you wish to. Do you wish to call a witness?
Yes, sir. I'd like to call Chrissy Marion.
All right. What was her name?
Chrissy Marion. She's out here in the hallway.
All right. You please step around here, ma'am. I'm going to ask ask you to raise your right hand and let the clerk place you under oath.
Yes, ma'am.
This is the witness.
Miss Mary, can you tell me how you know Miss Rose?
Well, she's Granny for one. I've lived with her for the past 2.5 years.
So during that time, you've had the ability to see her signature and her handwriting, correct?
I have.
Okay. Will you please look that over, check out the handwriting and the signature, and tell me if you see anything unusual?
What I do know is that Granny always signed her documents or anything like that with her middle initial. That's what I see right offhand. That's different.
Do you happen to know, did you ever have a conversation with Miss Rose about her intentions with her estate, her property, or anything after
Yes.
death?
Yes. Granny, I guess it was around end of October, beginning of November. Granny called me in her room and she said that in the event of her death, that, these were the things, and she listed them, what dress she wanted to wear, what we needed to do, far as the will. And she told me to get the will immediately, and to get the will to Jake Locker because he would know what to do. And that's Spring Hill, which is the funeral home. They were already arranged. We wouldn't have to do anything but call them, because Brad would be too upset to remember everything, and she knew I could, help him remember those things.
Okay, now you said that she called you in her room in October to November, correct?
Yes.
Okay, and that was at her residence at 1313 Randy Road, correct?
Yes.
Not at 175 Dallin Lane
No.
at Miss Pewett's residence, correct?
No.
Okay.
It was at home, at Granny's home, 1313 Randy Road.
Do you know around about when she moved into Miss Pewett's residence at 175 Dallin Lane?
I would say it was around the November-ish. I don't know exact date, but in November, I would think. Because the last time I went to doctor's appointments with her was in October.
Do you have any reason to believe that there was any reason, like that there would be any reason why she would change her wills around? And
She had clear intentions when she brought me up there. And she never told me any different. And she said that it was solely to be for Brad. That she wanted to make sure she was taking care of him and Skylar for them to have a place to live when she was gone. She said that she's the one who started this back when he was a baby, and she was gonna finish it. Nobody understood y'all's dynamic, but she understood.
did she ever express to you that she was in fear of anybody while living at her home or her living conditions?
No. Spoke her mind about, to me, about what had bothered her or whatever. So.
Yes, no further questions.
After you have questions.
Okay, so it's your testimony that she said that she wanted to make sure Skylar got everything correct. Okay.
She wanted to make sure that Brad and Skylar had a home to live in after she was gone.
Okay. But the will that's submitted by Mr. Hyman leaves everything to himself, correct?
Yes.
And that was back in 2020, correct?
Yes.
Okay. And in fact, Mr. Hyman that's here today actually has attempted multiple times to sell the home since we petitioned the court to open the estate, correct?
He's following the orders of the reverse mortgage.
of the orders of the reverse mortgage.
Yes.
But he's never been appointed as anything, correct?
I'm sorry.
He hasn't been appointed as anything, correct? He hasn't.
Not yet.
Okay. And are you aware that Miss Rose was afraid of Mr. Hyndman?
No, because she never seemed to be in fear of him while I was there.
You and Mr. Hyndman were living in the basement behind 2 deadbolts on a door, correct?
Yes.
To prevent her from accessing it, correct?
No.
And the home that you resided in was so trashed that the codes had Mr. Hyndman arrested on 3 occasions, correct?
Not
Who
the
did?
home.
The codes department.
Not the home. It wasn't trashed. It was his business was out in the open, you know.
Okay. Okay.
It didn't have anything to do with being trashed.
And but you lived there and allowed Miss Rose to live in this condition of this property.
What condition are you referring to?
Show me pictures. Okay.
Last time I took her to the hospital, the whole folder's about it.
Okay. I'm going to show you a picture. This is the condition of her feet just walking on the floors. How old was she? 86, if I recall.
She was older, yes.
Okay. And that was the condition of her feet walking on the floors in her home, correct?
I didn't look at her feet.
Okay.
But what I do know is that
May show the court, please.
we were having to bring things from outside inside.
Bring outside inside.
Yes.
And then I'll give you the number of items in the home.
This picture that you're saying here is a picture of the decedent's feet after walking.
On the floors of her home.
That's in the emergency room, Your Honor. No, I
You
took
can't
her-
say anything. I'm
Sorry.
not sure who you are.
Sorry.
That was her feet when she came out of the when they took her out of the home to take her to the
Put your
emergency room.
hand down, Mr. Hyman. This is cross-examination.
Okay. Now pull up the picture of all the items in the home.
Granny, he's had salts and stuff. Salts.
Let's not do the video. Show me the picture. I just want
She
to
never
show
was
a brief
barefoot.
these.
This is
Okay. 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 Showing that picture, please. And that's just one room in the home of all the stuff that was in the home, correct?
Yes, this is where this is the very back room, and that's where they would store like their yard. When this is like way back, this is like 2.5 years ago or something.
Okay.
But this is where they would store the things that they wanted to yards. They were like junkers. They like to, sell things. That's how they made their money. Like
Mr.
Granny
Hyndman's a junker.
Granny too. Granny too. She would say, "Sell it, sell
I'd like
it,"
to show the court that picture.
But yeah, that's where they would put the stuff that they were selling, like yard sales and stuff.
Okay. So it's your testimony that Miss Rose wanted everything to go to Skylar, correct?
No, not everything to go to Skylar. She
Well, that's-
wanted Skylar taken care of.
Okay. No further questions.
Thank you, ma'am. You may step down. Mr. Hyman, do you have any other proof?
I'm not entirely sure. I do have, like I said,
Stand up when you're talking. Go to the podium.
I do know that I had spoke to Margaret Brady, and she was going to, she was here, I guess, was going to testify that she had spoken with my grandmother sometime around 2021, 2022, that she had intended on changing some of her will, but she fully intended to still leave me a sole beneficiary.
Your Honor, I object to hearsay.
Sustain the objection.
Can I say something about what she was just saying about leaving everything to me and Skylar, that the will that I submitted actually
If you
states
want
that,
to testify, you're going to have to be under oath. You wanna-
that's fine. That's fine.
Pardon?
Yes, that's fine.
All right, come around here. We'll put you under oath. Raise your right hand and be placed under oath.
Okay, so what the will that my great grandmother submitted, it states that I'm to receive the entirety of her estate with my son as a predecessor in case I was deceased prior. But she did so because her and I had talked about this so many times that she knew that I was going to take care of my son, that I was going to have a roof over his head. You know, he was living with me at the time and not with his mother. He lived with me for years actually and refused to even go back to his mother's house. He's only recently went back there. I love my great grandmother. She raised me, and really, I don't even care about him. I'd much rather have her here than have. But I do know that Miss Pewitt and Miss Dowling were absent in my great grandmother's life for years upon years upon years, and has only just recently surfaced back up in her life over the past few years. They practically disowned her for forever, and I do know that the will that Tucker drew up in 2020 that was set in stone only became questioned and started getting brought back up again after Miss Pewitt resurfaced in my great grandmother's life. I do know that my great grandmother started getting a lot more stressed out, and money started becoming more of an issue. And I was having to work extra. Myself and my fiance was having to go work extra just to try to pick up the bills because there would just be money going missing every month. Miss Pewitt had my grandmother put on her bank account, and Social Security check was missing, and the bank account hacked. And we had to pick the slack up on that. I know that my great grandmother opened up a U.S. bank account, and it was going just fine. She puts Miss Pewitt on the bank account, and then bank account's hacked again. And
Well, you need to focus your testimony on whether or not you believe this was a valid will.
no, sir, Your Honor, I don't believe that's a valid will at all. If you look at the signature at the bottom of it, it's what they call a stipulated forgery. It's where you take a piece of paper and lay it over top of it, and you put
Your
the
Honor, I
imprint in it.
object to hearsay. There's no expert to testify this.
Okay, but if you look at
Sustained, you can't testify about what AI or anyone else said unless you bring in some expert to testify, which you'll have the right to do.
but I can testify as to what I see, right?
You can testify what you see.
Okay, well, from what I see, everything throughout the writing, I'm not arguing that that top part was written by my grandmother. I'm gonna say that is 100% written by my granny. She had a thing where if she got upset with somebody over the years, she would sit down and she had this pad and she would just write instead of going and calling the person out and causing a big problem or anything like that. She would sit down and she would write. And that's why she never signed the bottom of them at all. And that's why there's so many that just managed to keep popping up. And as Mr. Donnelly even said, that she said that she had a multitude of things that she needed to just cancel out prior. She had mentioned to me that she wished she had them all back in because she had no clue what they all said, and she didn't want exactly this happening. However, I know that when I'm looking at that paper, the whole top part is written with more of a fine tip pen and dark black, and it's fluent. It's perfect cursive. Like she was comfortable. She knew what she was doing. And then I look at the signature at the bottom, and it's not Fannie M. Rose. It's not Fannie Mae Rose. Like she normally signed all of her legal documentation. Anything that had to do with doctors, lawyers, anything was always signed with Fannie M. Rose or Fannie Mae Rose. And all I'm seeing is Fannie Rose and a different shade, different width, and different pressure, stroke. I mean, it doesn't look like it fits the page at all. And that's just me personally. That's what I'm seeing there. I know that it's bothered me for the last few years that everybody's been so worried about asking my granny for the will and trying to. Everybody's just been worrying about what they're getting when she's gone is still here. And this is, everybody's just worried about money and selling the house. And as they were saying that I've been putting the house up for sale and the reverse mortgage. They tried foreclosing on the house. They put the house up for foreclosure and stuff because nobody was moving along. I've been in contact with them since my great grandmother passed. And in order to get an extension on the
Your Honor,
payoff,
I object to the hearsay.
Can't repeat what somebody else says. Is there anything else about this will, the execution of this will, that you wish to be heard about?
I was just trying to explain why they're saying that I got the house up for sale. I put the sign up because I had to put
That doesn't make it more or less true that this is her valid will.
I'm just saying that that will there, to me, Your Honor, the ink doesn't match up. You know, I mean, I've never known my great grandmother to ever want like.
Under this will, she leaves you $100, and then she leaves the remainder of her estate in 1/3 each to your. Is that your son, Skylar?
Yes, sir. That's my son, Skylar.
He gets a Skylar with this
I
thing.
tried to get him to come in and testify as well. And
You get $100. Terry Pewitt, Ashley Dowles, and Skylar Heineman are to get 1/3 of the money left.
yes, sir. And which is
So she took care of your son in this will, right?
and that, yes, sir. But that's allegedly. But I don't, because I could speak an opinion on the person that's left in charge. But it alters if you look from the original one, which there's another will somewhere in there, but we weren't unable to locate it, and it left Ms. Pewitt and Miss Dallin $2,000 a piece out of the life insurance policy, but we have not been able to find it. Somebody actually came into the house and it's gone along with a lot of other paperwork that was in there. But I tried to get my son to come in and testify, and he said he wouldn't do it. He wasn't contesting the will, whatever. But what I do know is that I don't think it's a drastic change from 2021 from 2020. While I've been still living in my great grandmother's house, I was taking care of my great grandmother. I stayed there. That's why they didn't know that she had glasses. That she had to have her
So
glasses.
is she your grandmother or your great grandmother?
It's my great grandmother, sir. She raised me as her own because Miss Hewitt basically handed me off to her when I was born, and she's raised me, taking care of me my entire life. I've lived with her practically my entire life.
Okay, you've made it clear that so are you saying that a will that was executed in 2020 is the correct will?
Yes, sir. I'm saying that that's the only correct will, and that's why she went and she actually paid to have it done.
This will in 2023, you're contesting that that's her signature.
Yes, sir. I'm saying that she wrote that while she was mad at the top.
So you're saying she did write?
She wrote the top, but she did not sign the bottom of it, and she knew not to do that because when when my Aunt Jackie died, there was something with something that didn't have a signature, so it was proven invalid in court. But
so
I'm saying
are you saying that she wrote that provision that I just read you, where she gives you $100 and leaves your son 1/3 of the estate? Yes. She did that because she was mad?
Yes, sir. But if you look at the second page,
who was she mad
at? I'm assuming at me at that point in time.
And she said you got your tools, right? All your tools.
Yes, sir. I have a lot of tools, but she also said something about the furniture. But if you look at page 2 of the will that was presented in 2020, in the second paragraph, it states that she can write a letter.
I'm not looking at the will in 2020 because it hasn't been produced for me to consider. I'm only considering this, whether or not this is her valid will. It's 3 years after the 2020 will, and if this is a valid holographic will, then it revokes that.
I'm telling you right here and now that that's not her intentions. That's not her signature on it. Somebody added that
Ms.
signature.
Crabtree, you may cross-examine.
No questions, Your Honor.
Step down.
Sorry.
The petition that's before this court is to determine whether or not this holographic will should be admitted to probate and whether or not to admit that will and appoint the petitioners Terry Pewitt and Susan Valentine as the administrators or the co-executors of this estate. Based on the statutes that are involved in the testimony before me, I find that the credible proof has been that this is in fact the handwriting of the decedent in this case, and that that is her signature on both of those, her handwriting and then her signature, and that it has been properly authenticated as being a holographic will pursuant to statute. That will provides that the petitioners, Terry Pewitt and Susan Valentine, should serve as the co-executors, and I will appoint them to serve under those provisions. Now, Mr. Heineman, you are arguing that that's not a valid will. It shouldn't be. Are you on any kind of medication today?
No, sir, I'm not. What I am is I'm.
How old are you?
I'm 35 years old.
All right, 35 years old, then you should know how to behave in a situation like this and quit acting like you are having a nervous breakdown. But I'm telling you, I understand you're upset, and I understand you may not like my ruling. The fact of the matter is I have made my ruling in compliance with the state law, and if you disagree with it, then consult an attorney, hire an attorney, and file a contest to the will to show what you believe to be the valid will. There are other bases upon which you can contest the will, such as undue influence. If you think somebody's influenced your grandmother to execute that will that more or less leaves you $100, then you can make that argument. But right now, you're saying a will that she executed in 2020 is the one that ought to be there, and you haven't produced that will. Second thing is, this is a 2023 will, and I have ruled that it has been, the statutory requirements have been met to establish it as a valid will. That is the ruling of the court. You may consult an attorney about your options from here.
I have a question. Did Jennifer know? Jennifer said that she submitted the 2020 will to the courts prior to the last
I haven't seen the 2020 will, or if there is one, I didn't. It was not promoted by anyone.
She
So.
said that
I believe a copy was submitted, John.
All right.
Yes, sir.
That concludes this hearing. So you may consult an attorney and see what other options you have. So.